Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thank you everyone for coming today. Thank you for Brother Adil, fresh from Hajj. Today we started a new series, inshallah. After what's the first series? The first series was the no, this is the second series. The 6 articles of faith. The 6 articles of faith. We completed those pillars, and then we had discussions about the 5 ulul azm, the mighty prophets. And so today we're gonna start about the Caliphs, the 4 Caliphs, the Khulafa ar-Rashideen. And today we're gonna start about one of the giant sahaba, the most noble, the biggest man ever walked on earth after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's what they say, Abu Bakr. Alright, just on a quick hadith, if I were to take a Khalil, so apparently our Prophet Khalil is the same Khalil as his father Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is Khalilullah. His Khalil is Allah. But if I were to take a Khalil, then it will be Abu Bakr. Right? So this hadith is narrated. There's a couple of hadith about the virtue of Abu Bakr. For example, one of the hadith in Bukhari, where what's his name? His name is Muhammad bin al-Hanafiya, which is actually the son of Ali bin Abi Talib. Was asking his father, what is the biggest, the most people, the best after messengers of Allah, after Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And he said, Abu Bakr. Who's after that? Umar. So there's a lot of hadith, the virtues about Abu Bakr, Radhi'Allah anhu. And then so now, shall I not tell you that the best of the ummah after the Prophet? Again, another Musnad Imam Ahmad, they're saying that is Abu Bakr. So it is one of the biggest giant that we're going to talk about today. And at the end of this session, I'm going to tell you something, a little bit of surprise. Not a surprise, or something that I already hinted it was going to happen, but stay tuned until the end of the class, and then we're going to say something that is actually, what happened was, I got carried away to prepare the slides and reading the biography of this giant Sahaba, and I didn't realize it was already 3:30 in the morning, and I would just get carried away. And in the morning, I got some subtle reminder I'm going to share with you, inshallah. So he's one of the best, and it is commonly agreed from Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, all the Muslim. Of course, when we talk about Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu, there was another strand of Islam, which put him is probably the number one enemy. Right? But inshallah today we're not going to cover that part, but if there is something that we're going to talk about it, there's some part of the incident during the life of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu that has a Sunni perspective. There's probably the other strands perspective as well, but we're not going to cover that. We're just going to probably share just a little bit of that. And it is agreed among all the Salaf, among the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that the best man after Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or the Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, then Umar, then Uthman, then Ali bin Abi Talib. That's why there's a hadith about follow me and the Sunnah of the Khulafa ar-Rashidun, the four big giants. Yeah. All right, we're gonna talk about 4 things of the Caliph Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu. We're gonna talk about his lineage, his titles as well, some of the nicknames that people gave him. Of course, everyone, the most common one is Siddiq. We're going to talk about that as well. And it was a very long life events. Last night, which one I want to pick up. So I'll probably pick up 4 or 5, some of the life events that probably we can take benefit of and learn from it. And then what, out of the 4 caliphs, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was probably the shortest one. He's only about 2 years, 27 months. So what he has achieved during that period and what is his contribution to us as Muslims today, because it's coming from him. And then I just probably keep some of the wisdoms of what his legacy of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu. All right, quick question. Anyone knows his real name? This Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is the biggest man after, not of course not in size, after Prophet Muhammad, but yet probably is not known to many Muslims other than Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Right, so we probably want to reveal some of this. Anyone knows his name? His real name? His real name was originally Abdul Ka'bah. And then Prophet Muhammad SAW changed his name after he accepted Islam to become Abdullah. So his name became Abdullah bin Uthman. And his nickname, which is Abu Bakr. Bakr means actually young camel. So it's actually nicknamed by his own father. So what does it mean, Abu Bakr? Abu Bakr is not kunya. Most Arabs will have at that time, and probably even now as well, they have what they call as the kunya. Kunya is if your son, what's your son's name, brother Adil? Aim. So you could be called Abu Aim. Yeah. So it's a common kunya. Rasulullah SAW was once called Abu Qasim, because his father is Qasim. So it is quite common to say to the father of this or the father of that. But there's also another, just a tradition within the Arabs, they use Abu for something that associated to this person. For example, Abu Bakr means the person is energetic, like a young camel and stuff. Ali bin Abi Talib was having a marital spat with his wife, and he didn't know what to do, so he went to the masjid and then just lying down near the masjid, and with all the dust coming to his face and body, and Rasulullah SAW called him Abu Turab, which is the father of dust. It just Abu Hurairah, for example, Rasulullah SAW found him with the small kittens hidden under his shirt, and Hurairah means kitten, so Abu Hurairah. So it is common around the Arabs to give kunya, which is the father, the name based on their first son or the first child, Salama, Abu Salama, but there's also some Abu is also used for something that associated to them as well. His father name is Abu Quhafa. He embraced Islam the last batch. So after the Fatah Makkah, after the Makkah was reconquered again. And his father and his mother embraced Islam. So I want to show you the Abu Quhafa. Okay, just probably a quick note. Abu Quhafa, he's one of the, probably not the strongest, but he's the one who's embraced Islam the last, because he has this enmity with Islam. So he doesn't want to, why these people are splitting. Most of the people, they don't want to embrace Islam at the time, because they think, why these people bring new religion and then split the society, split the family. So they don't like that. So they don't actually study why the message and everything. They just see this is actually bring chaos to society. That's why they didn't like him. Abu Quhafa, the father of Abu Bakr, was known for a story where he actually slapped across the face of his own granddaughter, Asma binti Abu Bakr, where she was trying to help Abu Bakr and Muhammad SAW in providing provision and stuff. And then, well, where's your father? She didn't answer, and somebody just slapped across the face. So he's known for that. And he also, Abu Quhafa was known for the Sunnah of Rasulullah SAW. When he embraced Islam, his hair is all white. And Rasulullah offered him, why didn't you dye your hair with, what is the henna? Is it henna? That's why if you see people who have all the white hair, you can actually dye it with any color you want, except black. So this is his father, Abu Quhafa. So I use X-Mind to draw the relationship between Prophet Muhammad SAW and Abdullah Abu Bakr bin Uthman. Rasulullah SAW and Abu Bakr go all 6 generations. So there's actually 6 generation. Where's my pen? Do I have a pen here? Yeah. So 6 generation here from, so Abu Bakr bin Abu Quhafa bin Amir bin Amr bin Manaf bin Ka'b bin Sa'b bin Taim, and then bin Murrah bin Ka'b bin Sa'd. So they meet at Murrah. Murrah is probably 6 generation. And within Quraysh is actually one of the name here, which is Fihr. He's the one who's a Quraysh. So Bani Quraysh mean the Bani Quraysh means the children of Quraysh. So we call Bani Adam because we are the children of Adam. Of course, we also are the children of Hawa, but in Arabic tradition is the father's generation, right? Except Prophet Isa alayhi salam. Right? So it's, Rasulullah sallam, another relationship with Abu Bakr is, everyone knows that the daughter of Abu Bakr, Aisha Radhi'Allah anha, was one of our mothers, Ummahatul Mu'minin. He's the wife number 3 after Khadijah and Saudah. So that is the lineage. Just the family of Abu Bakr himself, he has 4 wives. You can notice by now the is it red? It's not red. This is a little bit of brown. The brown means female and the blue one's male. So the first wife was Qutaylah bin Abdul Uzair. Apparently there was no narration that she accepted Islam, so that's why I didn't put RA in there. Whether she accepted it doesn't in the end, wallahu alam. But to his story, there was a narrations where Asma did not accept the gift from her mother, and then she came to Rasulullah, can I accept this from my mother? My mother was still a kafir. So that's why, and then Rasulullah, then this ayah was revealed that you can, of course, you can socialize, you can do muamalah, you can do transactions, anything with the non-Muslim, right? Especially your own mother as well. And then the famous wife is Ruman. I think Shaykh Al-Qari tried to find the actual name of Ruman. He couldn't find that as well. So Ruman. Ruman has 2 children, Abdurrahman Radhi'Allahu an, and Aisha, which is the wife, which is one of our mothers. Abdurrahman, not many stories about Abdurrahman, except if you remember the stories of when Prophet Muhammad SAW, the last 2 days before he passed away, and he saw Abdurrahman with the siwak, and Rasulullah SAW looked at the siwak and he wanted this his teeth to be brushed with the siwak. It was the siwak of Abdurrahman, because Rasulullah SAW was going to meet Allah, and then he wants his teeth to be clean. And then the other wife is Asma binti Umais. Asma binti Umais, this is amazing story actually. Asma binti Umais is one of the wives of Abu Bakr, was originally married to Jafar bin Abi Talib, right? And then Jafar died, and then Abu Bakr married her, right? And after 2 years of the marriage, I think probably 3 years, Abu Bakr passed away, and the brother of Jafar, which is Ali bin Abi Talib, married to her. So she's the one who married to the 3 big giants, right? One Jafar bin Abu Talib, Abu Bakr, and Asma bint Umais. So the Muhammad bin Abu Bakr was actually raised in the house of Ali bin Abi Talib. And then another wife, Habibah. I didn't have any details on this, and their daughters, Kulthum. One of the narrations about Asma, Asma has played important role, especially during the migration, the hijrah of Rasulullah SAW. She was known by the persons with 2 belts, dat al-nitaqain. Yeah? So because she needs to go around and bring provision, she tore off the belt and put one in here and one over there. So just known for the person with the two belts. And out of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 children, only Aisha Radhi'Allah was born to Islam, right? The rest of them, they're born out of Islam, but they then converted to Islam. All right, some of the titles probably just you know about As-Siddiq, but not many people know that his first title was nicknamed by Al-Atiq. Atiq means actually free. Why is named by Al-Atiq? There's 2 reasons. Yes? Atiq. Yeah, Atiq means free. So Al-Atiq means free. Potentially because his Atiq is free from death. The mother had two sons before and then always die. So then the first one came and just give Atik, right? So that's potentially one of the reason why he was named by Atik. But there's also a hadith where Rasulullah SAW, if you want to see someone who's freed from the hellfire, look at Abu Bakr. So that means freed from the fire. So this is the nickname given by Rasulullah SAW. And the famous one, of course, As-Siddiq. As-Siddiq was originally, there's at least two hadith that I found out when Rasulullah SAW, and there's a lot of hadith in Rasulullah SAW. There's Abu Bakr and the Rasulullah Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman were walking on Uhud, and suddenly the Uhud moved, and Rasulullah says, Uthbut Uhud, fa innama alaika an-nabiyyun as-siddiqun sahadain, two side. So above you is one Nabi, one Siddiq. So the people of Taqwa, the 4 levels, I think 4 or 5 levels. The first one is Nabi. Right after Nabi is Siddiq. Right after Siddiq is Suhada, so people die of Sahid. And after Sahid is Soleh. So Salih, and then one of the benefit of being Suhada, or the death of Sahid, is that you don't get questions by Allah, right? So that's why a lot of sahaba, they ask Allah to die as a Sahid. So that means they don't want to be questioned by Allah. If you look at Umar bin Khattab, die as a Sahid. Uthman bin Affan also die as a Sahid, and Ali bin Abi Talib die as a Sahid. Except only Abu Bakr, he died because of illness, because he's already past Sahid. He's already Siddiq. Subhanallah. So Siddiq, and then the other story about him being a Siddiq was the incident of Isra Miraj, where people come, and when he told the stories, I just came back from Masjid Al-Aqsa overnight, and everyone, they couldn't believe that, they can accept that story, and they went to see, look at your Sahib, your friend. He just told us, he just came back from Palestine, from Masjid Al-Aqsa, from Jerusalem, just overnight. And Abu Bakr said, if he said what he said, even more than that, he received a revelation in the morning, in the day, and the afternoon, even more than that, I believe it is coming from him. Right? I have a class in Causeway Bay, and where one of my students is actually as a to be Muslims. One of the questions he asked, how do you believe that your Prophet flying with the flying? No, he flying with a winged horse, right? And it is, if you think about it, why people can believe that's a story. This is actually our Sahada. Asadu Allah ilaha illallah. If you believe in Allah can do anything, can create this universe, can build every single cells in our body, right? And every single drop of water is Allah control everything. Why can He move one person to another place? He can do whatever He wants. So this is Asadu Allah ilaha illallah. And the second one, Asadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. We believe what Rasulullah say is the truth. Because if there is a deficiency what Rasulullah SAW said, then there's no religion. If there is a deficiency, because what we believe is what he said, right? So that is, and then we human is actually, it is embedded in our DNA that we believe people based on their credentials. If you go to a doctor give you pills, and as a doctor have to do this, no one questions them, especially if they put their certificates, their Oxford University, you will not question them, you just believe them. Even though sometimes the nasihat, the advice of the doctor doesn't make sense. We humans have a tendency to accept based on credibility. The same thing, why Abu Bakr can accept that? Because it's the credibility of Rasulullah SAW. So that is the story of Isra Miraj, and that's why he is entitled Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Alright, another one is, not many know, Atqa, person who has taqwa. Surah Al-Lail, wasayujannabuhal atqa allazi yu'ti malahu yatazakka wa ma li ahadin indahu min ni'matin tujza illa batigha wajhi rabbikal ala wala sawfa yarda. That hadith a story about someone who was righteous in always give and always give and always gives. Because what? Because want the pleasure of Allah. These people, Allah will give them what they please. And this actually, this part of the surah came for because of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. He's only seeking the face of the blessing of Allah, right? And this is Surah Al-Layl, yeah, Surah ayah 17, number 21. And then probably it's not a title, but he is the one who Ashara Mubasara. Anyone knows? Ashara Mubasara. 10 people of the glad tidings of Jannah. So he's one of the Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr is in Jannah. Umar is in Jannah. Abdurrahman bin Auf is in Jannah. Talha bin Jannah. Zubair bin Jannah. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas in Jannah. Sa'id bin Zaid bin Jannah. Who else? Ali bin Abi Talib, Uthman, they're all in Jannah. They're so specific. Not that any other sahaba mentioned being in Jannah, but this hadith is so specific because it's mentioned all the 10 names in one hadith, right? So there's all known by, but there's also other people, like for example, Rasulullah mentions and asks Bilal, why I can hear your footsteps in Jannah? So that means Bilal is also in Jannah. And for example, Jibril came down and bring someone. This is gonna be your wife. It's gonna be your wife here. It's gonna be your wife in Jannah. So when Aisha Radhi'Allah anha is also in Jannah. So there's a lot of Sahaba is also in Jannah. Angel Jibril, for example, exactly came down specifically only to give a glad tidings to Khadijah Radhi'Allah anha. Don't worry, give salam from me and from Allah, and don't worry, your place is already safe for you, right? So that means Khadijah Radhi'Allah anha is also in Jannah. So hopefully we can one day see them, and then of course they are the noble people. They will accept us when we come to their place. So probably we can invite them, inshallah. Promise, inshallah. Amin. So that is what did he look like? There's a lot of narrations about he is actually tall and extremely skinny, so skinny that at that time people are just wearing 2 pieces of cloth, so skinny that his clothes, the undergarment, is always slipping off. What people know also about Abu Bakr, he's an expert in ilmul ansab, like a sanab, like a genealogy. So like the tribes coming from this tribe, they can easily recite the bin A, bin B, bin C, up to 10 to 15 generations. They can go easily to even Adnan. Adnan is the first Arab, and if you go to Adnan, there's probably another 20 generations to Ishaq alayhi salam, and then Ibrahim alayhi salam. They can easily tell them. Even their horse as well. Like if they ride a horse, the horse is the son of this horse, the son of this horse, the son of this horse. This is part of their traditions, and in fact, this is actually part of the branches of knowledge of Islam, which is not commonly studied right now. And Abu Bakr was known for having this knowledge. So he's been traveling across the Zajirah, the Arab Peninsula, and he's known many tribes. So this has been used by Rasulullah. If you talk to certain kind of tribes, Rasulullah will ask Abu Bakr, what happened to this tribe? They're known for this. Their great-grandfather used to be doing this, and so on. So this is part of the skill within genealogy. Right now, people do DNA tests, right? So yes, about historical characters, who's who. It's like if you do it now it's easy now. You just do a Sheikh Wiki and what's the other one? Google and Wiki, right? Sheikh Google and Mufti Wiki. So the most knowledgeable, and Rasulullah always seek advice with him, especially in relation to one particular characters within a tribe and so on. All right, let's talk about some of the life events of the one of the giant Sahaba. Okay, childhood friend. So he's actually 2 years apart from Rasulullah SAW. It's only 2 years apart. The Rasulullah SAW was born in 571. He was born in 573, 574. So they've been knowing each other for quite some time. So, and normally people, if they're good friends, normally they have some sort of similar characters, right? So you can imagine Abu Bakr has a similar character. He's a very soft-spoken, and he's a soft-hearted as well. He was very known for helping people, right? And there was one time when, because his tribe is not a big tribe, it's like the Bani Hasim where Rasulullah SAW came. His tribe is a small tribe. Even his tribe one day removed the protections for Abu Bakr, and Abu Bakr had to find refuge. And he even decided want to go to Abyssinia as a hijrah. And then at that time, people said, "No, no, 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 don't go. There's someone who knows him. Don't go. You just stay here. You're a nice person. You kind to your people. You help people." That word is exactly the same word where Khadija Radhi'Allah mentioned it to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can imagine this, right? So it is, he's known for dignified person. He even said that I've never done any alcohol. I've done. One day my father took me to a place where they have idols, and I was so upset why people worshiping this idol. And he came up to idol, okay, give me food. And I said, no, see, idol is not responding to me, and he smacked this idol, right? So that reminded me the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So he had these qualities, and he said there's no alcohol, no extramarital relationships, and no idol worshipping as well. One of the things, because he's a best friend, so he's a best friend until the last death, until the last breath of Rasulullah SAW, they were still best friends. And not only that, he gave his one of his daughter to Rasulullah SAW. And then this is the only, very rare, this is the only sahaba who always participated in all the ghazawat, all the military campaign of Rasulullah SAW. He is always there. So he's always there. So it's very rare of the story of the Sahaba. So he's done business. There was a message in our what's book. I like that message. Do not get a job, get a business, because if you have a job, you cannot inherit your job to your children, but you can inherit your business. Yeah. And then a lot of arguments after that. I don't know. I don't know whether you're right there, but anyway. He been traveling around this Jazira, went even to Busra in Damascus as well. And I found this, he has about 40,000 dirhams. So that made him probably like middle class. So it's not very high, it's not very rich, but it's probably middle class as well. Among the Arabs in that time, there are people who are called Khulafa or Hanif. That means this group of people, they don't want to worship idols, right? And one of them is very famous by the name of Zaid bin Amr bin Nufail, right? So he's always, why these people are so crazy, and then actually the society do not really like them because they're just probably the outcasts, they're just alone by themselves. But these people will never worship idols. So he even came to these people and talking to them and then it says, because he's gonna be a Nabi. So Zaid bin Amir bin Nufail actually mentioned the word Nabi. What is Nabi? Nabi is a new word for Abu Bakr at the time. Not many people during that time actually heard the word Nabi. Nabi means the same word as Naba, it means a good news, but good news. That means someone who come with the good news. That's what it literally means. And because of the word Nabi, and Abu Bakr actually want to find out what is the word Nabi, and he went to Waraqah bin Nufail. Waraqah bin Nufail is, Assalamualaikum. Waraqah bin Nufail, anyone knows Waraqah bin Nufail? Waraqah bin Nufail is the cousin of Khadijah. And then he went there and just asked, what is Nabi, right? So he gave an advice about Nabi, and the same thing was, subhanAllah, the same thing when Khadijah was trying to comfort Rasulullah, they also went to Waraqah bin Nufail. And not many people know actually, if you think about it, right? One of the first Muslims, of course, the first Muslim was Khadijah. The first Muslim actually Adam, Prophet Adam alayhi salam. But anyway, at that time, the first Muslim was Khadijah and Ali bin Abi Talib, because Ali bin Abi Talib actually lived with Rasulullah and Zaid bin Haritha, right? But no one actually know that Waraqah bin Nufail, because there's no particular instruction to say the Shahada, when he said that you are one of the people that the Jibril will come, revelation will come, and then I wish I was still alive when the people kick you out from the. This is also acknowledgement that he is already a Nabi. So Waraqah Radhi'Allah anhu is actually one of the Sahaba as well, because he accepted Islam. He passed away just a few months, less than a year after that, after Rasulullah became a prophet. All right. Okay, the first adult to embrace Islam, of course, as I mentioned to you, this is outside the family, right? I think the first adult man as well, that Zaid bin Haritha was still a baby, not a baby. Zaid bin Haritha was still a small child, and I think when Rasulullah get the revelation, Ali bin Abi Talib is probably around 6, 7, probably 8 maximum, and Khadijah radiallahu anha, and then of course who's gonna who will be your first Muslim is gonna be your best friend. That's why Abu Bakr become Muslim, and even without only one knowledge, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah, he made street dawah right away. He made a street dawah, and he brings with it on day one Zubair bin Awam, Uthman, Talha, Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, right? And all these people who are, 5 of them are on Asara Mubasara. So if you think about it, this is really amazing Sahaba. What Allah has bestowed upon him, right? He was the closest friend. His daughter married to Rasulullah sallallahu. He was the first Muslim, and he's the one who brings the first batch of the Asara Mubasara, the 10 glad tidings of Jannah. And he also bring Abdullah bin Mas'ud. Abdullah bin Mas'ud is the sheikh of the Sahaba as well. And then he Bilal, right? So it's also from him as well. Now this is a story. This is probably I've already mentioned it to you, that he decided to emigrate to Abyssinia because he lost protection from his tribe when he Taim. Right. So this is one. Okay, one of the stories about his early Islam. At that time, there's probably someone actually took a note. At that time, was only 38 Muslims. So there's so many of them, already 38. And Abu Bakr says, I think it's about time to tell people about Islam. Why don't we just make some, open a stand or something near Kaaba and proclaim about Islam and everything. Rasulullah did not say no, did not say yes, because there's no, whatever the Prophet, the Nabi, always, in instructions about it, always come from Allah. So there's no instruction from Allah about وَأَنْتِرْ أَسُورَكَ al. There's no instruction from Allah for Rasulullah to do da'wah yet at that time. So Abu Bakr took the initiative. So he went near the Kaaba and told about Islam. And everyone was so, they did not accept that, especially the name by the Utbah bin Rabi'ah. Utbah bin Rabi'ah was the one who's actually put the dropping of camels and everything upon Rasulullah. He did that as well. He was so fed up and angry, and he went to Abu Bakr, the skinny man, and then to punch him, took his shoes and beat him and nailed him to the ground. And the problem with mentality of mob, if you probably, I think we sort of experience it right now. You just need one person to start. They kill that, and everyone will just jump. So when Utbah bin Rabi'ah started the punch and everything, everyone came and started punching Abu Bakr until he lost consciousness. Now, even his mother, in the narration say, even his mother could not even recognize it. It's all bloody all over the place. There's blood all over the place. And then he was brought to his house, and after probably less than a day, he gained conscious, right? And everyone was crying and everything because he couldn't even recognize. There must be the bruises and everything from head to toe. And then when he opened his eyes, the first time he asked, how was Rasulullah? Where is Rasulullah? Subhanallah. Talk about love. You want to talk about, I want to know about love, this is love. Right? Love that brings you to Jannah. That's a good love. Love who brings you closer to Nar is not love. So where is my prophet? What happened to him? No, he's fine, he's cool, he's be okay. No, no, I want to see him. Until I can see it, no, you better eat first. The Ummul Khair is his mother. Ummul Khair says, you better eat first. No, no, I'm not gonna eat until I know, I see for myself Rasulullah. And then they even have to carry him with all his weakness. Two ladies to carry. The other one was, I think, Fatima bint, I can't remember the name. Fatima, I think. And not, there's three Fatimas I remember. Fatima binti Rasulullah, Fatima, which is the wife of Abu Talib. There's another Fatima, I can't remember. So they carry him to see Rasulullah sallam. Just want to see to make sure that he's okay, he's fine. This is Abu Bakr, all right. So that is Abu Bakr met the first da'i in this ummah, the first khatib of the ummah, right? And just to remind everyone that Utbah bin Rabi'ah is one of the seven leaders actually died in the battle of Badr, where Rasulullah actually pointed, Utbah, you feel now, and then mentioned Abu Jahal, and mentions one by one, and as if Rasulullah talked to the dead people, right? So during that time, there's a mu'jizat of Rasulullah sallallahu, we can actually talk to the dead people. And Umar bin Khattab said, Ya Rasulullah, can they hear you? Yeah, of course, they can hear me as if you hear me right now. So it doesn't mean the dead people can hear, but only at that time, Allah allowed these dead people, one of them to Ubah. Right? So there are a couple of, there are a couple of Quraysh where they don't like the teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu, but they still have dignity. They didn't do all the silly and those stupid things. For example, Abu Sufyan, he still have dignity. So because of that, Allah still blessed him with Islam, right? Even though he's the last person to become Muslim, Abu Sufyan, he became Muslim as well. So there's a lot of narration, but people like Abu Jahal and Utbah bin Rabi'ah, these people are so filthy, right? There's no guidance for them. All right. This is his story. Woke up and to ask only the condition of his beloved friend Rasulullah SAW. And hijrah to Medina. This is when Rasulullah actually got the instructions from Allah that he could do hijrah, and Rasulullah SAW told Abu Bakr that I decided you to become my companion to hijrah. This is not a companion to go a sightseeing, a nice sightseeing. This is like a life and death travel, right? And there was a hadith where Aisha Radhi'Allah anha mentioned, I never know someone so happy that he actually cried, right? This is actually talking about his the father Abu Bakr. And there's a story about hiding inside the cave, where they almost found by the Quraysh who were looking after them. You know what happened was the Quraysh announced the 100 camels on Rasulullah's head. So whoever found him dead or alive, 100 camels. So of course everyone's gonna find 100 camels. It's like scope, like a billions. I don't know what the billions. How much is camel now? At least seven people to do qurbani, right? So, how much is qurbani? Right? 3,000? Yeah. 3,000 times 7, 21,000. 20,000 per 2.1 million. It's enough to buy a nice, decent house.
Not in Hong Kong.
Not in Hong Kong? All right. Okay, then. Okay, down payment then. All right. And then at that time, he was so nervous that he can see that these people will see us. And this is the very famous Allah is with us, right? In Allah ma'ana, right? That Allah is with us. So, now it actually says there's no two people except the third is Allah. Yeah. Yep. The another story about the cave, which I'm gonna relate to you another story about almost the same incident, where this is really the best friend, right? So Rasulullah was tired, is actually sleeping on his lap, and Abu Bakr was just probably relaxing his food and stuff like that. And there was, I don't know whether it's a spider or not a spider, it's a snake, a scorpion, and it actually bit him. But he didn't want to move an inch because he didn't want to wake up Rasulullah. So talking about love. And then because he couldn't bear the pain, he's actually dropped his tears on the face of the beloved Rasulullah and make Rasulullah wake up. And Rasulullah then uses his saliva and then cure it. Alright, they stayed that in the cave for 3 days. Another story I want to tell you about. I want to tell you about the humanity of the sahaba, which is probably one of the things that are always very very keen to share. There was one time Abu Bakr was probably had some arguments with Umar bin Khattab. Two were the biggest giant. Think about it, right? If you just think about it, they had arguments, and the emotion of Abu Bakr got the better of him. So he said something which is probably not good. It hurtful to Umar. Radhi'Allah. Umar was so sad. You said that to me? Alright. And then Abu Bakr realized, wow, I am so sorry. Please forgive me. No, I will not forgive you. Please forgive me. No, I will not forgive you. And Abu Bakr was so sad. No, he couldn't forgive me. He was so sad. And then, being a sad person and very close to Rasulullah, where did he go? He went to Rasulullah and complained to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, I had this problem, this. And then what? And then Umar did not want to forgive me. Rasulullah was annoyed, right? And then while that happened, Umar bin Khattab finally feeling sorry as well and feeling guilty. I sort of forgive him, right? So let me go and find it. I'll forgive him. And so he went up, knocked up on his door of Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr is not there. Where do you find him? Probably the mosque. So he went to the mosque, and he saw there, and he saw Abu Bakr was there, and Rasulullah saw, and Rasulullah looked furious against him. What's wrong? What did I do wrong? Right? And then he felt nervous right away because it looks like Rasulullah on his side. Right? And then Abu Bakr felt that Umar was a bit scared, and he became, oh, Ya Rasulullah, it was my mistake, it was my fault, it was not. And again, what do you learn from this? You learn even the biggest sahaba, the people that was guaranteed Jannah, right? They have tensions and arguments. They become the role model not because they don't have problems. They become the role model because if the problem comes, they want to solve it. The love and respect to Muslim is actually the sign of piety. The sign of piety. And they demonstrate it. That's why they become our role model. Right? Not like sometimes I get sad when I see our WhatsApp messages and bad mouthing other tribes, other nations, other this. I just feel sad about it. Right? They should learn from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Really, honestly, I feel sad. Right? You should be sad. Look at these two big giants, right? They got emotions as well. They say bad things, right? They say hurtful things as well. If you look at from Surat Ali Imran, uiddat lil muttaqin allazina yunfikuna fi sarra wad dara, and then the allazina people, even the people of taqwa, doesn't mean they don't make mistake. They make mistake, but when they make mistake, they try to istighfar and then correct it, right? So that's why they become our role models. Role models doesn't mean they don't have problems. They have problems, but they know how to solve it. Again, this is the story of humanity of the Sahaba, a story of the slander of Aisha Radhi'Allah anha. I think everyone knows about these stories, but I want to tell these stories from a different angle. There was a ayah came down. Wala ya'tali ulul ulul fadli minkum, right? Ulul fadli, people who are pious, who are righteous, has virtues, right? Amongst you, right? Ay yu'tu ulil qurba wal masakin wal muhajir. This is what happened. There was the slender of, I probably just tell you a little bit if you forgot the story of the slender of Aisha. Well, it's already 8:36. I got carried away. The slender of Aisha was just a snapshot, right? Aisha radiallahu anha was seen with Safwan bin Mu'attal on a camel, and people think negative things, right? I think it was after the battle of Bani Mustalik. And Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, which is the father of hypocrite at the time, he used this opportunity. All right, this is it, right? This is gonna be spicy to tell the story, right? So he told the story that Aisha radiallahu anha actually did something terrible, right? But then the story, you know the story how it happened and everything, and Allah sent down an ayah to protect the chastity of Aisha radiallahu anha, to protect her innocence and everything closed. And who actually told all this slander? It was all the hypocrites, plus 3 Muslims. One of them is Hassan bin Thabit. No, Hassan bin Thabit was actually is the poet of Rasulullah SAW, but of course he's forgiven. And another one is Hamna bin Tijaz, is the sisters of one of our mother, and one of them is Mistah bin Uthatha. Mistah bin Uthatha is a distant relative of Abu Bakr, and Abu Bakr give him money every month for his life. Give him money every month. After the slander, Abu Bakr was so upset, and he said, I'm not going to give him his money. He is entitled to do that. He's not money anyway. He is entitled to do that. There's no obligation for him to give this money. He's giving money because out of his being a charity and so on, right? But Allah revealed this ayah. Allah revealed this ayah for him. What did Allah says? Don't you want to be forgiven? Right? Allah revealed this ayah because if you want me to forgive you later. So this is the maqam of Abu Bakr, that is probably, we can actually do that, right? We can stop giving this money because it's our money anyway. But because the maqam of Abu Bakr, no, you don't stop, you continue paying it because you want my forgiveness, right? So it's amazing. Wallahu ghafurur rahim. So one of the amazing story about, I had something, no, I'm going to tell this already at 8:30. All right, another story is about tayammum. If you know tayammum, everyone knows tayammum, right? There was a dry wudu, they call it. So if you're on a journey, the ayahs is An-Nisa, number 43. If you're ill in a journey and you just, after relieving yourself, or you contacted a woman in junub and you find no water, then fayatamamuma sa'idan toiban, use the water and then put your face and your fasmahu bi wujuhikum, face, and wa'aidikum, hands. And that is the story of that is at the time when Rasulullah SAW performed a military campaign. He used to make what do you call that? Throw a ballot, like a ballot, to pick which one of the wives of the Rasulullah SAW will go into that. So this time was Aisha, so Aisha came with him. And after the campaign, and Aisha radiallahu anha realized that she lost her necklace somewhere, right? Talking about everyone husbands here talking about love to wives, right? Lost the necklace. and they complained to Rasulullah, I lost my necklace. It's not a fancy, expensive necklace. It's just something small, right? And you know what Rasulullah did? Rasulullah stopped the whole army. The whole troop stopped. Search for the necklace. They were just at the end of the journey. They don't have enough water supply, right? But this is Rasulullah, is the order of Rasulullah. They went all the way, the search and the search. They couldn't find it. They start having complaints now. What's this? Come on, this is looking for necklace. We don't have water. We don't even have water to wudu. We don't have water to drink. We don't have even water to do anything. We still have a long way to go. And these rumors, actually, Abu Bakr heard it, and Abu Bakr felt guilty about it, felt bad about it. So he went up to the tent of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know what he saw? He saw Rasulullah was lying down on the lap of Aisha Radhi'Allah anha. Exactly the same the story as during the Hijrah time. And Rasulullah, why did you do that? Was that what? So Aisha didn't want to move because Rasulullah was sleeping on his on her lap. And Abu Bakr was so upset. He actually pinched his own daughter, and she was holding it until she couldn't help it, and she moved, and Rasulullah woke up. And Rasulullah woke up with a smile, and the ayah just came to me at this surah, this ayah, that from now on, don't worry about wudu, because you can do a dry wudu. And all the sahaba, they're all complaining and everything, talking everything. Ya Abu Bakr, this is not the first time. Allah bless us through your family. So this is there's lots of story about the blessing of Abu Bakr and the family. All right, so I pick up right before. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Caliphate. During the death of Rasulullah SAW, I think this is the biggest calamity for human being, and even the likes of Umar bin Khattab, he lost his composure, right? He couldn't even control it. Uthman bin Affan was just sitting, he couldn't even move. Just sitting there, and no one actually moved. And the Ayman actually ran around, and so the Rasulullah has passed away. Rasulullah has passed away. No one can bear it. It was so big. Abu Bakr was not there, but when I heard the news, he went there and went to the room of his own daughter and saw Rasulullah SAW, opened the cloth, and then he kissed him on the cheek. Ya Rasulullah, how beautiful is your life, even when you die. This is again, and at that time it's only Abu Bakr can actually control his emotion, and Umar bin Khattab already with the sword. Whoever say Rasulullah is unlike Prophet Musa. He just went there, he's just gonna be quiet. He's gonna become whoever say he's dead is gonna kill him. Right? This is the like of Umar bin Khattab cannot even control. You can imagine how the love of Rasulullah to the Sahaba. The Sahaba really felt it. Amr bin As, Radhi'Allah Annhu, was one of the. He said himself that Muhammad was the one that I hated the most, but after I embraced Islam, he's the one I love the most. And this person, Amr bin As, which is the father of Egypt, right? The Amr bin As, he actually embraced Islam almost before the conqueror of Makkah. He's the same batch as Khalid bin Walid. He has not been with Rasulullah so long. He's just probably 1 or 2 years. And he felt the love for Rasulullah. He even dared to ask, Ya Rasulullah, who's among the man that you love the most? Thinking that it was going to be him. Right? So you can imagine the love for Rasulullah. So everyone had just lost it. And it was Abu Bakr who's actually calming down the Ummah at that time. And he asked all people, whoever worship Muhammad, behold, indeed Muhammad is dead. And whoever worship Allah, Allah is alive and will never die. And then he recited the Wama Muhammadun illa Rasul qad khalat min qablihi Rasul. There will be prophet already come before him. If the prophet die or got killed, will you go back, what's the right word for that? Will you turn back upon your heels, right? Right. So this is people who lost it so much, who loved it so much, they can actually lose consciousness out of losing their own beloved, right? And that's why he is obviously he's not a people gather no one better suited for this position to become a caliph, to become a Khalifa. Okay, the word caliph itself is actually means successor. So Umar bin Khattab was called Khalifatul Rasulullah, but shortened to become Khalifa. And when Umar bin Khattab became Khalifa, he was actually called Khalifatul Rasulullah. Right? You can imagine he stopped it. No, don't call it Khalifatul Rasul. Just call me Amirul Mu'minin. Because you can imagine if he didn't stop it, then Uthman is going to be called Khalifatul Rasulullah, and Ali will be so on and so forth. So Khalifah means the successor in this case. So upon hearing the death of Rasulullah SAW, the tribes among the Arabs at the time that promised to become Islam, and suddenly they feel, okay, there's a time to rebel now. I think they are all power because of course our Nabi or Prophet, but now it's not, the Prophet is not there, so probably he's not going to be powerful. We can do whatever we want. And some of them even, oh, actually I had a dream, I will be the next prophet, right? So the Musailim al-Kadzab, he mentioned that as well. So a lot of people, this is the first 2 years of the Caliphate of Abu Bakr, was busy handling all of these small tribes here and there, and even some of the tribes actually tried to attack Medina as well, right? Because they think this is collapse, it's gonna be probably I'm gonna be the next prophet and so on. So this is the Battle of Rida, right? So some of them rebel, they don't want to refuse. Basically, they want to rebel. They don't want to be under whoever the Caliphate at the time. So Abu Bakr sent troops, try to calm them down and go back to the real teaching of Islam. There is one story of the anti-prophet. What do you call the people who claim to be prophet? Is it anti-prophet? No? False prophet, sorry. Yeah, false prophet. One of them was Musailima al-Kadzab, and he died with the spears of Wahsi. Wahsi is a person who actually killed Hamzah, the uncle of Rasulullah SAW, in the Battle of Uhud. All right. Other than the tribes among Arabs that try to belittle the conditions of the Ummah at the time and try to give in problems, but also at that time there's a two big superpower. Now we use in the 80s we have two superpower, right? The Soviet Union and the America, right? Right now we only have one superpower. During the time of Rasulullah, the two superpower is the Sassanid Empire, which is the Iraq, Iran, and so on, and then the Roman Empire, right? So they start also making some threats to these new emerging Muslims kingdom as well. All right, so continue the order of the Prophet. One of the order before Rasulullah passed away, he asked his beloved Zaid bin Haritha, was his son, Usama bin Zaid, to lead a troop to go to the Roman Empire, right? And then what Abu Bakr did is to ask to make sure that they continue this journey, right? You can imagine at the time Usama bin Zaid was only 18 years old. Just think about, just want to have a quick note. Zaid bin Haritha, which is was originally called Zaid bin Muhammad, which is a stepson of Rasulullah SAW. Zaid bin Haritha was actually died 2 or 3 years before Rasulullah passed away. It was at the Battle of Mu'tah. Zaid bin Haritha died, and I read a lot of stories about if Zaid bin Haritha did not die, he potentially become the first Khalifa, because we so beloved to Rasulullah. But yeah, anyway, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was releasing the troops, and he delivered the speech, which is very famous. I'll quote: "Do not be deserted." This is the speech from Abu Bakr to the troops that are going to go to battle to the Roman Empire. Do not be deserter, not be guilty of disobedience. Do not kill an old man, a woman, or child. Do not injure date palms, and do not cut down fruit trees. Do not slaughter any sheep or cows or camels except for food. And you will find people who spend their lives in monasteries, leave them alone, and do not molest them. And this become the ethic of wars of Muslims. So we don't go around collapsing building and kill hundreds of people just for. Then even killing an animal is not allowed in Islam, in the name of war. So for Muslims, the war is always holy because we do it because of the instructions of the Khalifa or the government at the time is to protect, right? So this always is always holy, and we go. All these people, they go to war not to win land, right? They just come to spread Islam, right? So this is the difference between the war of the Sahaba and then the modern war. So led by Usama bin Zaid, his instruction to army, this is one. And during the Caliphah of Abu Bakr as well, where Khalid was appointed to lead the troops, where he gained victories after another and attacking the Romans. So he never beat. I think he never lost any single battle. Yeah, so much so during the Caliphah of Umar bin Khattab, he was actually demoted. He was actually fired of being a general because a lot of people in Medina were still thinking wherever Khalid came, they win. So Umar bin Khattab was so scared that people would think the victory coming from Khalid, he sacked him. And being a good Muslim as Khalid, he still fight the battle. You've been demoted from a general to a corporal or something. Why are you still fighting? I'm not fighting for Umar, I'm fighting for Allah. So this is Khalid bin Walid. And in his deathbed, he said, none of my body actually free from a slice and cut of swords and everything. I wish I'd die as a martyr, as a Sahid. And then his wife said, you don't understand, Khalid. You cannot die as a martyr. You are Saifullah. You are the sword of Allah. The sword of Allah will not break in the battle. Subhanallah. Alright. Perhaps one story. I think you can. You're still awake. You're still awake. Perhaps one story. This is the time of the Umar, Abu Bakr Siddiq when he was a caliph. So sometimes Umar saw that Abu Bakr came a bit late to the masjid, so he was wondering what happened. So one day he woke up earlier, and he followed Abu Bakr, and he saw them, and he saw him like go into a tent. Apparently in the tent there was a very poor lady. I think she was blind as well. And then Abu Bakr went into that tent, and Umar was waiting. What happened after, just before Fajr, and he left. So Umar was what happened? Yeah, what did he do? So he came. Can I come in? Yes. Who was that man? I don't know. He came to my tent every night, every morning, clean my house. I cleaned the tent, cook for me and everything, and prepare everything for me. And then he left. Do you know who he was? No. So this is Abu Bakr. And Umar bin Khattab at the time said to himself, "Oh, you will make your successor miserable. No one can follow this." Right? And in fact, that's what Umar bin Khattab did as well. So probably we'll tell this story when we talk about Umar bin Khattab. So it's a morning tour. I like the word morning tour. So what we're doing in the morning, we're still in the bed. Yeah, we're still in our bed. Well, Abu Bakr. What the good thing about Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is, after the passing away of Rasulullah SAW, he came to Aisha and asked, "Is there anything that Rasulullah used to do that I have not done yet?" He's the Sunnah. What do you call that? Sunnah addict. Sunnah hunter. Sunnah hunter. Right. So he passed away after 27 months as Caliph. I promise you, I promised you something in the early of this class, right? He actually passed away on the 21st of Jamadil Akhir, and in our calendar, it is actually 23rd of August, which is today. So it is today, 1,385 years ago. So that's what I said. I was reading the biography and everything. I was just carried away. I don't know how many times I read it. I just fall in love with this. So I was already 3:30, right? And then just after, just on my way to work today, I just opened Wikipedia, and it was today's topic, this blah blah blah. I just scroll, and then one item said, today in history, today Abu Bakr died. I said, wow, what a coincidence! It is today we deliver a speech of the biggest man ever walked on earth after Rasulullah SAW, which is Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. He was buried next to the Prophet SAW. I think you know, he's actually buried at the house of Aisha Radhi'Allah anha. So, some of the legacy. Conquer of the land started during his reign. So, unlike the imperialism, when they conquer the land in the name of wealth and money and power, what they do, just give you a story about when the Muslims conquered the Sassanid Empire, which is the Iraq and Iran and so on. After they conquer it, all the Sahaba actually do not live in the city. They live quite far away, where the Kufa is right now, right? For example. So these big cities and everything, after they conquer, okay, you have to pay jizya, you pay tax and so on and so on. But the Sahaba actually did not live in the town. They actually live outside the town, with in the tent. Right? So all these people will see the Sahaba, will do interactions with them, they fall in love with Islam, they become Muslim. So they don't go there and conquer countries and lands and everything because of lands. They want to spread Islam. So that's different. So after they conquer the land, they live outside of the city. So for example, if they conquer Hong Kong, they probably live somewhere in Tuen Chung. just an example, right? So he is also known for the strengthen and consolidate the community, right? Because it's the first time people start to rebels and all the big empires start to show threats as well. And one of the biggest legacy of Umar bin Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was during his reign, when the Al-Quran was actually compiled and collected and written as a book. It was revised again during the reign of Uthman radhiyallahu anhu, but it was actually it was Zaid bin Thabit, Zaid bin Thabit, which is a personal scribe of Rasulullah SAW, who actually compiled this with the task given by Abu Bakr. All right, the last but not least, which I think, of course, there's so many legacies, so many wisdom points that we take from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, is even the best people on earth have arguments and tension, but they become the best character not because they don't have problems, but because they know how to deal with the problems. And I like this word. It's actually, I invented this word. Is that loving and respect to Muslim is a sign of piety. So I think that concludes what I have to share with you. 10 minutes overrun. Jazakumullah khair.
Questions?
No question. No.
Yes.
The easy one.
I don't think it is. But, well, I'll still ask. I wanted to ask, in regards to choosing a leader, democracy is usually not the way to go about, right? I'm not.
Okay, all right.
We as Muslims first we need to clarify.
I was actually gonna tell you about that. Anyway, how Khalifa Abu Bakr was elected. It was actually a sign from Rasulullah SAW, right? When Rasulullah actually missed praying together, probably about 4 or 5 days, during that time was Abu Bakr the Imam, right? So he was actually son from Rasulullah. So from Rasulullah to Abu Bakr was appointed. From Abu Bakr to Umar bin Khattab was also appointed. So Abu Bakr says, okay, after me it should be Umar. So it's appointed. What it means, that means government, or whatever you want to call that, which is a society of governing themselves and so on, the successor of it can also be appointed. The proof of that is Rasulullah to Abu Bakr, Abu Bakr to Umar. But Umar to Uthman bin Affan is quite unique. What Umar did actually, he called all the Ashara Mubasara, all the 10 promised Jannah. At that time, it's only 6 of them. They compiled all of them, and he said, "You, all 6 of you, you meet and find my replacement. If you cannot find it, you know Umar is Umar, right? If you cannot find it, I'm gonna deal with you, right?" So they make a swara, they make a what do you call that? Council. They make a council. The 6 people make a council. So who will become the successor of Umar bin Khattab? And these 6 people, when they first start the meeting, Abdurrahman bin Auf raises and I'm not going to compete. Right? It was actually become clone, not clone. It's become to become 2, which is Ali and Uthman. And how do they campaign? Ali says, "Oh, Uthman has this virtue." Rasulullah says hadith about him. And Uthman also says, "Oh, Ali is the best amongst us. See, look at this hadith of Rasulullah." This is the campaign. Right? So if you want to have a campaign in Islam, a campaign the good thing about, you ask about democracy, this probably not a my understanding is some ulama says that democracy, because the vote of a smart, the vote of uneducated, the vote of a kafir, the vote of a good Muslim and everything, they call considered one. So if 70% of these people who are actually wicked and agree that zina should be made halal, they make halal. That's democracy. Right? In Islam, it should be theocracy. That means the rule of Allah should be above the rule of human. So as long as they are theocracy, underneath you can have people power, you can have kingdom, you can have anything. It's not being ruled. As long as you're theocracy, that means the Quran and Sunnah, not like you actually claim Quran and Sunnah, but you do completely opposite. That's also a problem. But as long as you make a Quran and Sunnah become the base, during the Abbasid, this generation after generations, right? During the Umayyad, also generation after generation. When the era of Ottoman, the Uthmaniyah, also generation. So generation per generation is also allowed. Appointed is also allowed. If you think about it, just probably a quick note. How the 6 people make a council and they vote among themselves to choose is actually almost similar to the selections of the Pope. You know the selection of the Pope? The 6 biggest or the 8 cardinals, they go to Vatican and everyone would be waiting outside and they vote among themselves. If they equal 3 or something, then they will burn black smoke, and then people from outside, you can see black, that they mean no new Pope yet. So they do their own arguments and councils and everything and muswara and everything, and then they vote until the smoke is white. So it's like a papal selection. I think it's almost like the council that Umar actually appointed to choose Uthman bin Affan. So in terms of the government, my quick answer, I have a long answer. The quick answer is, as long as you do theocracy, which is Allah rules number 1, underneath you can be by people, you can be appointed, you can be by blood or by blood, is also allowed. Inshallah. Wallahu alam.
What about Saudi?
It's the same, right? It is the system itself, that from son to son is also practiced during the Umayyad time. Umayyad, like what, 600 years, right? There's also generation the son, right? And then Abbasid follow as well. And then after that was the Uthmaniyah. They're also the son, the son, and the son, the son. Is all what we call the dynasty. So it is allowed as long as you follow. At the end of the day, the krasi, which is the Greek word for government, is with theo. Theo means God. Theocracy. As long as you follow the God's rule, just because you have more power, just because you have democracy, that means more people vote for zina to be halal, that is against Allah. If you vote that beer to be halal, then it's against Allah, right? But whether you become a kingdom or become parliamentary, or that, I think it's not rule. I mean, again, I might not be, just my quick reading on that. So, Allahu
For
Alam.
instance, Iran is the parliament.
Sorry,
Iran is the parliament.
is a parliament? Iran, right?
Iran.
The Iraq,
Iran.
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 But they do follow the Islamic law, right? There's no zina or if there's no such thing.
Then
Brought up.
yeah, then should be okay as long as you restore the ummah is
There's
restored.
a big difference than the kingdom, right?
Yeah, the kingdom is somewhere, but Abbasid is all kingdom as well, dynasty as well. Abbasid and then the Umayyad and the Uthmaniyah, they're all. But Allah bless the victory of Islam. Islam spread left and right, up and down, during the time of Abbasid, during the time of Umayyad and Abbasid as well. Right. So that means Allah blessed that kingdom, that dynasty, because through that the region actually being preserved, and as long as you're not corrupt. But there are Khalifa who also I think Marwan bin Abdul Malik, for example, right? There's a story. There's a lot of bad stories about, and at the end of the day, and even Abbasid was actually chased down. The last Umayyad, I can't remember the name, was actually chased just to give his kingdom. He was actually murdered. The whole family murdered. Because of with the power. Power tends to corrupt. Power corrupts. All right, I need to run. Wa iyyakum. Jazakumullah khair. Thanks for listening, and hopefully we meet again, inshallah. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta, wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Allah is the one, the one, the one.